Get ready for action because the Pittsburgh Steelers are making a massive move with Aaron Rodgers finally returning to the team after a tense wait. The Steelers were holding out, but the quarterback finally made the decision, and we break down everything you need to know about this massive return and what it means for the season ahead. Back, we uncover the surprising situation surrounding Mason Rudolph and the potential for a trade. Find out why Rudolph could be the odd man out in the lineup and what the Steelers could do with that valuable asset before the season even kicks off. Don't miss this. The Pittsburgh Steelers have officially secured the return of quarterback Aaron Rodgers, a decision that came at the very last minute, seemingly testing the patience of the organization. The team had harbored expectations that Rodgers would commit to another season before key NFL milestones, including the start of the NFL Combine in February and the NFL Draft. According to Jerry Dulac of the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette, the Steelers had effectively set a deadline of May 18th by which Rodgers needed to make a decision, as they were prepared to lose faith if he did not commit. Remarkably, the Steelers did not need to engage in formal meetings with Rodgers, as a framework for a deal had been established over a month prior. Instead, the quarterback reportedly kept Pittsburgh in suspense for several months before finally announcing his commitment to another season on May 16th. Analysts suggest that Rodgers may have enjoyed the uncertainty, as the Steelers had little communication with him recently, and the quarterback's delayed decision may have caused internal tension. Rodgers had led the Steelers to a strong 10-6 record last season, posting impressive statistics with 3,322 passing yards and 24 touchdowns against just 7 interceptions. The Pittsburgh Steelers are reportedly moving forward with a strategy to identify a successor to Ben Roethlisberger following Aaron Rodgers' retirement. The team has long had clear plans for their quarterback situation, with Rodgers slated to be the starting quarterback for the 2026 season. Behind the scenes, the organization has been evaluating the potential of players like Will Howard and Drew Aller for future roles. The focus now shifts to 2027, as Rodgers' impending retirement is widely anticipated. The 2027 draft class is expected to be highly attractive, featuring names such as Arch Manning, Dante Moore, and Lanoris Sellers. According to a report from Jeremy Fowler, executives are watching Pittsburgh closely, noting that the team has scouted extensively and is looking to capitalize on a quarterback class they have studied for years. While Aaron Rodgers is set to lead the team in 2026, his age suggests this will be his final season. The competition for the starting position after 2026 will likely involve Drew Aller and Will Howard, with college prospects being closely monitored by personnel like Omar Khan and Mike McCarthy. The Steelers are now facing the pivotal moment where they must make a historic decision regarding their quarterback position after the 2026 season. The Pittsburgh Steelers' continued focus on Aaron Rodgers has drawn criticism from some analysts who suggest the team may have overlooked superior quarterback options during the offseason. ESPN's Ben Solak argues that the Steelers passed on Kyler Murray, who would have been a more logical and cost-effective choice. Solak pointed out that Murray signed with the Minnesota Vikings for the veteran minimum of $1.3 million, suggesting he was a better fit. While acknowledging that elite passers are scarce in free agency, Solak stressed that Murray presented a viable upside, noting that despite injury history, the 28-year-old former Pro Bowler still possessed mobility and potential. Pittsburgh reportedly never seriously pursued Murray, opting instead for Rodgers, whose contract is worth up to $25 million. Rodgers delivered a strong 2025 campaign, leading the Steelers to a First Division title, but analysts question if he represents the best long-term path. Salek concluded that while re-signing Rodgers makes sense purely for a playoff push, welcoming a player like Murray would have offered a far more intriguing alternative for the team's quarterback situation. The Pittsburgh Steelers face a potential quarterback conundrum as Aaron Rodgers officially returns to the team, reportedly securing a one-year deal just ahead of the offseason transaction period. This development leaves the Steelers with 4 quarterbacks on the roster, including prospects Will Howard, a 2025 sixth-round pick, and Drew Aller, a 2026 third-round pick. With Mason Rudolph also in the mix, he could become the team's odd man out. Analysts suggest it is unlikely the Steelers will roster 4 quarterbacks, as this would leave the team thin at other positions. The risk of exposing Howard to waivers for a practice squad move post-training camp is deemed too high, and there is little expectation that Aller will move. Consequently, Rudolph emerges as the most likely candidate to be traded. Ian Rappaport reported during the draft that the Steelers are open to trading Rudolph, suggesting a potential move as the season approaches. The Steelers traditionally maintain 4 quarterbacks heading into training camp, a status expected to remain unchanged. If the team secures a preferred offer for Rudolph before camp, they will find another quarterback to fill the spot. However, the focus remains on evaluating Will Howard, who has received significant praise this offseason, and whether the organization is comfortable with him as their number 2 option. Should injuries arise, Rudolph remains a capable backup. Despite losing his starting role last season, he is considered a solid number 2 option. With only 1 year remaining on his contract, suitors for Rudolph are expected. The Steelers could potentially leverage a late day 3 pick to facilitate a trade, moving forward with Rodgers and the 2 emerging quarterbacks. While cutting Rudolph is the worst-case scenario if a trade market fails to materialize, the roster squeeze created by Rodgers and the 2 young prospects makes Rudolph's long-term role uncertain in 2026.